Hi, Otters. I only realized that I have been gone for 7 weeks. I thought it's just 4 weeks or so. But I'm glad that I don't think anyone missed me. But it's more for me to record my own journey. So it's gonna be probably a bit longer than usual. So the reason why I've been away for so long is because I went to visit Toronto and to visit my sister. Stayed there for a month, and since when I was there, the jet lag and then fitting into their schedule, my sister and two kids, it's quite tough. Yeah, I've been gone for a while, but not really not working. So within this few weeks, begin with learning the basic of the Dart language. The reason being that at the time I needed to export the whole code from FlutterFlow to my device with and open with Visual Studio, just so that I can make some tweaks. Because at the time FlutterFlow wasn't able to have these kind of action implemented. So yeah, I spent about 2 weeks figuring out, learning the basics, trying to understand how to mostly the overall structure, and then how to go through the codes and then the basics of it. I don't necessarily know how to write them out, but I was aiming to at least got to the ability to figure what that code means and then how to navigate between the codes, learning that it's actually a bit like a document with references at the behind, which once I understand it, it's kind of like, oh, okay, I get it now. But yeah, it took me a while to really find the best resource, as in the one that explains the most clearly. Of course, there are some documents provided from Dart, but I came across this YouTuber that I just adore, because he explained things in such a way that make it so simple, and just kind of get the key, like the core issue or the core learning point for beginners. So if you shout out to that YouTuber, which I forgot his name, but I can check it out. But yeah, so after 2 weeks, in the meantime, I also faced some issue with regard how to have the code run smoothly in my Visual Studio platform. Turned out to be a bit dumb, but I guess it's just it is what it is. Actually, it's quite simple. It's just because I save it in the wrong folder. I got the wrong impression that I need to save it in certain places, but actually you don't. So it's pretty straightforward. But I end up just spending a lot of time learning how, because Visual Studio is just a platform that coordinates a lot of different languages. I'm not expert in this, but then I thought that there's a collision between two softwares, so I kind of need to make sure that all the version of the software match each other. But then later on realized that, okay, actually it's all because I open it in the wrong way. But I learned something on the way, so that's that. And as soon as I finished learning learning the Dart language, I then tried to implement it. I had a quick check, as in what have FlutterFlow, the development team, have been doing for the past few weeks, and then I learned that, oh, actually, they happen to update the features that I really need. So problem solved. It must save me a lot of time, I guess, because that's kind of like, or yeah, a lot of time. So I actually end up not needing to tweak any codes for now. Finger crossed. Hopefully it will stay that way. But the app is not yet deployed, so fingers crossed. So since the platform is there, I got to test it in a more complete manner, as in pretty much all the features there. I got to really test it and then smooth things out, iron things out, and just to make sure that the user will have a smooth launch, knowing what to do, and also at the same time testing whether there's any bug that I haven't identified before, and also at the same time to build in some of the context in both languages, as in Mandarin and English, because these two are the main language that I will begin with in my launch. Further detail to be decided, but starting point. So I kind of generated a lot of example posts, the tutorial builds, just so that the flow will be a bit more complete. People got to have more say. The environment that I build up through this tutorial will be meeting what I aimed at the very beginning as what I want to achieve, which is for people to come together in this polarized world, knowing how to use this platform, but then also at the same time try to not overwhelm people in my onboarding process, which it's still 10 pages, but each page, I managed to cut it down as much as I can, but the remaining content, I feel like those are a must. Probably need to further test it out in my beta testing, as in whether people still think that it's a bit too lengthy, but I think, I cut it down from 15, I think. So things are looking good. I aim to have my app deployed within the next 1 to 2 weeks. Currently, the major holdback is I came across this limitation of my backend server, which is Firebase. If I am to deploy a not-in filter when it comes to index query, they have a limitation of 10 elements within that argument, which I didn't realize before, and then I only come across when I was doing my testing. So that needs to be fixed. Otherwise, it's going to be red screen when the user come across it. Pretty much the app is dead for the user. So that's the only kind of holdback I'm currently dealing with. I hope that's going to be dealt with properly very soon. I've looked for a lot of solutions, but I think because of my design, I didn't quite find one that suits me best, and a lot of examples on the internet, which is the way I implemented at the very beginning. It's actually not gonna work if it's gonna be scaled up. Probably because they're just doing some quick demos, they didn't really think that much, because these kind of limitations, you don't really have them in mind. You only come across it when you come across it. A lot of resource on the internet. I end up realizing that it's just not perfect. It's just a demo, I think. So I kind of exhausted my solutions, and I will then now be reaching out with an external expert I found on the internet who's active in this Flutterflow community for some consultation, which is the provider of one of the solution I come across, which I think is the workaround, but because of a different design of my app, probably it has to be tweaked. It cannot be just, I cannot just copy it. So I'll be having a call later today just so that I can check what to do next for me. And if once that's sorted, then the only step will be to deploy my app for Google Play and Apple App Store to review. I pretty much got the settings done in my developer account, which fingers crossed that nothing's wrong, because usually I think it's better that because I'm doing a little bit of back and forth, because I was a bit stuck a few weeks ago, so I was like, what else can I do? So I kind of set up these kind of developer accounts, but hopefully all the information remains correct. More importantly, the keys, the IDs, they still match, so that they can successfully link between my app and my account and then the platform whatsoever. I'm not expert in this. It's a bit complicated, not gonna lie. And yeah, pretty much, yeah. So hopefully, not much more surprises down the road. And yeah, and then so if that's done, then hopefully in 2 weeks' time, I don't know how long they will review my app. Usually it's gonna be a couple of days, not more than a week, but it may be, approval, but it can be rejection as well. So we'll see, and just gonna need to make the change required and then send it for review again. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at now. For next stage, once that's launched, then it's gonna be downloadable on the on Google Play, iOS App Store. But then yeah, at the time it wouldn't be a huge scale promotion because I will be more or less trying to ask people around me to test it out and see how it goes, to see if there's any further bugs. And also I got the beta testing survey to be sent out for feedback, and later on some interviews to be set up with those who kindly tested out for me to see if there's anything that I probably need to be aware of or fix before scaling up for the bigger market. And also some ideas as in what kind of premium features will be needed or desired by the audience or by my users, just so that I can probably provide additional features for them, and at the same time have some income covered, but that wouldn't be my main worry for now. I just want to deploy it, and once it's up there, more or less to make this product mature and see how it goes. Hopefully it will catch up and people can find the true value of it, and then I'll be trying to do a lot of marketing myself, as in identifying my target group on different channels on the internet and see whether people can take on and see how it goes. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, sorry for being lost for 7 weeks. I'm back now. Things are doing okay, I guess. But for those who signed up for beta testing almost 2 months ago, apologies for unexpected hurdles and hiccups on the way, because yeah, a lot of the bugs that I didn't expect it just come across. And yeah, in an ideal world, I thought everything's gonna be like A to B to C. I mean, there's not gonna be any. It's just gonna be a straight line, but nah, it's not. It's a bumpy road. Glad that I'm nearly there, or at least I think I'm nearly there. Fingers crossed. Thank you all, guys.